This eclipse season is not messing around. I have been feeling it so intensely, and I think that a lot of people have been feeling it in such a profound way. So basically, if you don't know, eclipses happen when the nodes of the moon are in the same sign as the sun or moon during a full and new moon. Basically what this means is from April 30th, which is when we had our first eclipse of the season, until now, we are being asked to truly excavate and release what does not matter to us anymore. And these are very basic core things. Like Taurus rules resources, it rules our value, what we place value on. And Scorpio is about a profound, intense, deep healing. It's catharsis, it's real, raw emotion. It is karmic healing that needs to occur. And so I think that many people, especially fixed signs, are feeling the eclipse season so intensely because it is in these really basic foundational core values and also in our very personal and intimate healing. So what I'm going to do today is pull some cards on what this full moon lunar eclipse is bringing / what it is taking away. And it is important for you to remember that the eclipse will always take something. It wants you to release. It is pushing you to release. And it would be much easier if you released without the kicking and screaming. So letting the eclipse take things away. Think about certain beliefs or understandings or relationships or physical things that just don't serve you anymore. Because this eclipse and this full moon in Scorpio is asking you to finally let go of it. I know for myself, I'll give you an example. I have this mug that I'm really emotionally connected to, but it connects me to a negative emotion. Why am I keeping it? And for me, it's something so basic. It's just a mug, but because it can provide such beautiful and foundational healing for me, it is time for me to release this mug and what the mug represents. So think about something for you. If you need something to be tangible, that's great. I understand that earthy need, but at the same time, if it's something in your own head, if it's something you believe in, if it's somebody in your life, think about how you can release that and how that really pushes forward your healing. So the actual eclipse is on May 16th if you are in the US. It's actually at midnight Eastern Daylight Time. So it's like just after midnight. It's actually a perfect time to just like release everything into the night. I'm really excited about that. And so I have these 3 piles for you to choose from. They are using my crystal candles from my intention line. So choose the one that speaks to you the most. They are all available on my website if you're interested. And that website is harveymountainalchemy.com. And as a constant reminder, I am still doing the giveaway. Once I reach 1,000 subscribers, I am giving away 7 prizes. 7. It's so exciting. Basically, that entails a bunch of different readings and even a gift certificate in there too. If you are interested in learning astrology or learning tarot, please feel free to reach out. I do offer private sessions. So we basically tailor the lessons to your already existing understanding. All right, I am excited to see what it is you need to release. So let's just get right to it. Pick your pile. Let's go. All right, so these are your 3 candles / piles to choose from. Pile 1, the emboldened candle. Pile 2, the peace and serenity. And pile 3, joy. All right, pile 1, you chose this emboldened candle with pyrite, sodalite, garnet. I love this guy. I have such a love for pyrite too. I'm obsessed. So emboldened, that is what you are seeking for this eclipse season. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a card from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle and also the Prism Oracle. I love these color-based oracles because they speak on a lot of layers. So starting off, where is this eclipse pushing you to release in your body? Where in your body are you seeking release? Creation. And it's actually a neutral chakra because it's gray, which means that it's sort of muted. It's sort of all over and nowhere at the same time. Very beautifully specific, but also vague. And the concept of creation, maybe that there's with embolden, I almost feel like as an artist or as a creator of some kind, you need to push yourself to be bolder in what you're creating. Stop seeking approval from everybody else, or not everybody else, but from external circumstances on what you're creating, because you need to be the one who is happy with your creativity. The fact that I chose this deck for color and we got gray, I feel like that speaks volumes, what it is it's saying. It's almost like there's like this lavender hue, this lavender tint to the gray, and you have this source of red within you that creates that creation, that foundational urge, that primal urge to make something. And that doesn't mean that you are like an artist or you literally create something with your hands, but it's that creative energy. It's that Taurus Scorpio axis. And that's what this eclipse is kind of dealing with, is that Taurus Scorpio, the urge to make something, the urge to put something of value out there. But it's really who determines that value? Who is it that you are seeking that affirmation from about your value? So we're definitely going to get a color from this Prism Oracle. Let's see where else this is sitting within us. I love that. Okay. Once again, lack of color. You got peace. I am sort of hearing like, if you are an artist, play with monochromatics, like play with lack of color, play with negative space. And it's almost like, who is it that's determining your value? Find that your own inner peace with what you make, with what you make of yourself in this world. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done about you're stifling your light or dimming your own light because you want to seem palatable for everybody. Don't be palatable. Be yourself. Let yourself shine as you, because right now, being palatable, being non-confrontational, being maybe even lackluster in some way with these like this beige and gray vibe here, that is not getting you the connections that you are seeking. You are seeking major relationships or connections with other people that make you feel alive. But by being only not condensed, a diluted version of yourself, you're actually attracting more diluted versions of other people. Whereas if you really did take on this emboldened version of you, you would be able to, or you would start to attract people who are being themselves and who are attracted to you being yourself. It might be a smaller pool of people, but it's a higher quality. So let's see what it is we need to release. See if there's any more specifics. I'm pulling from the Love is Love, this Pride Tarot deck. So let's see the release that needs to really occur for you. The Three of Wands. This guy, the King of Pentacles. This Three of Wands is so interesting. I've honestly never really gotten a strong reading from it. But it's these birds in a nest and this person who's sort of seeking protection or guarding. But it's almost like the mama bird is like, you don't have to guard. What are you doing? This isn't your place. I almost feel like some of the relationships that you're in, that's not your place. It's misaligned with who you really are. And a lot of this eclipse is really saying, let go of the fear of what other people will say about you. This Three of Wands, you don't need to be protecting whoever it is you're protecting. They don't actually want it. Maybe they would prefer you to be that bold version of yourself, or maybe it's time for you to step away, to walk away. And then you got the King of Pentacles, really owning what you do, owning who you are. This is a Taurus card. So really sitting in your abundance, sitting in your ability to create, even if it's not palatable, because this King of Pentacles has so much going on. There's really not like one focus area. It's just all over the place. Let yourself be all over the place. Maybe there's some like Libra in watching this pile right now of like needing to maintain the peace, trying to keep things looking balanced. Like, let go of some of the balance. If it's not aligned with you, why are you trying to find the balance here? Why not just, I mean, if you picked embolden, lean the other way, lean towards Aries. That's really fascinating. And it's funny because Taurus and Scorpio, those are just like they have nothing to do with Aries and Libra, but that's really the access that I'm feeling is being highlighted for you. So maybe it's your 1st and 7th house. Maybe you're a Taurus or Scorpio rising. And I'm definitely feeling like there's a group or there's a place in your life that you need to walk away from because they are not valuing all the work that you are putting in. And you are feeling like, oh, it's my duty, it's my job to be here. But it really is not. There's other places or other people or other things that are better suited for the skills that you are just handing over to these people, places, or things. So let's look at how best to release, how to approach the release. There we go. Well, first we got the Magician. The Magician is a Gemini card. But recently my friend has actually mentioned this as Aries, or how the Magician can pull you towards Aries tendencies, because the Magician is not afraid to go and do. The Magician has all of the resources they need to be magic. And then let's see what else. You got the 8 of Cups and the Queen of Cups. It might be an emotional release. So expect an emotional release on the 15th, 16th, or even a little bit after, because we always kind of still feel the effect a couple days after. And this is kind of a 6-month-long cycle that you're going to be feeling. Overall, it's an 18-month-long cycle, but really condensed version, it's a 6-month-long cycle. And so this 8 of Cups literally means let go. Let go of everything you've collected, all of the experience you might have picked up along the way. Just because you have a history doesn't mean that you need to hold on to it. Scorpio and Taurus are both very good at holding on and like gripping onto the one thing that makes sense to them, especially Taurus. Scorpio is a little bit better at release because it wants that release. But Scorpio can also hold a grudge, hold on to that little thing that made them feel a certain way. And so it's almost like it's time to let go of all of the things you know, of the beliefs that you have, just because you have a history of those beliefs and it's what you're comfortable with, essentially. And even if it's not comfortable, it's what you know. It's tradition for you. And yes, it might mean a little bit of pain. It might mean a little bit of an emotional time. You might need to really release those feelings, but after the fact, you're gonna feel lighter. There's gonna be a letting go. It does feel like communication, really expressing yourself through your voice is important here, because we do have all of this blue, but know that you do have the power to do it. The Magician to me is such a power card. You own your power. Nobody else takes that from you. And this 3 of Wands really speaks that, because this 3 of Wands is like, who are you giving your power to that you are protecting them? Meanwhile, you are vulnerable and naked. So let's see, what last message do you need to hear, pile 1? Embolden. Oh, these 2 cards came right out. The 6 of Cups and the Knight of Wands. Yeah, look at that, 6 of Cups. You may feel like a softie. You may feel vulnerable and like I'm almost feeling like that soft belly or like a little soft spot on the head. Like you may feel really delicate right now, but you actually have all the tools you need. You have everything you need to push past that delicate, vulnerable feeling and do the work. Put in the work. Smash your mug. If you didn't watch the intro, then you don't know what I mean, but smash the mug. And this Knight of Wands I've been having a journey with, because he's got this mask behind him. It's almost like, who are you wearing the mask for? Is it for other people or is it for yourself? And again, that plays into being a Taurus or Scorpio rising. Honestly, if you have any fixed placements, you're really feeling it right now. So think about the mask. Who is the mask for and what does the mask look like? You can take it off. You can bare your chest and still be strong. All right, pile 1, I hope that was helpful. I'm sending you so much love. This eclipse season has been so beautifully cathartic, at least from, experiences that I've heard about. So let me know what your experience is of this eclipse season. Again, sending you so much love, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. All right, pile 2, I have got your Peace and Serenity candle. I love this one, so gentle. We've got the fluorite at the top, blue lace agate, blue calcite. Very, very soft, sweet candle. If you want this candle for yourself, you can buy it on my website, harveymanalchemy.com. So let us see. I want to use the Chakra Wisdom Oracle and also the Prism Oracle. I want to see what colors come up for you, and sort of just like the themes of this eclipse for you, and like where in your body that color rests. So I'm going to pull this Chakra Wisdom. Oh, where does this eclipse rest for pile 2? We've got 2. We actually got 2, and they're very opposite colors. We've got impasse or impasse. Oh my gosh, I don't know. And bittersweet. So it's almost like you are at a wall here. And it's bittersweet. We like that we're at a wall because it means that we don't have to move forward, and moving forward, progress is uncomfortable, but at the same time, we know we want that progress. And look at this full moon right behind the impasse. I almost feel like this bittersweet, whatever happened 2 weeks ago during the first eclipse of the eclipse season was bittersweet, and you almost felt like it brought you towards, it like pushed you, it urged you to move forward. So think about April 30th, where you were and what kind of push you were feeling then, and how you might be feeling a little stunted or a little stalled right now. You might be at an impasse. Maybe 2 weeks ago, you felt the ability to communicate, to express, to really open yourself up. And now you're at this place where you're back in protective mode. You're back in survival mode with impasse. Or maybe you don't feel safe, right? This guy kind of looks like he's not letting you pass. So what external factors are stopping you from progressing forward? I do feel, yeah, like this is in your sacral, it's in your throat. So let's see in this Prism Oracle what you get for this space. Wow. Just this black space. That was my puppy dreaming. So maybe hold the space for this stalled energy. And I mean, you picked peace and serenity, so maybe you are stalled. Maybe you are in a place of slow and of stopping, especially because we've got this Mercury retrograde, which is sort of all about like go within, review, reassess, sitting with yourself and how you feel and what you think. So maybe it is about holding the space, and it might feel like nothing happens for you this eclipse. It could feel like this was nothing, it was a dud, didn't affect me at all, but that is how it's affecting you, in holding space for whatever happens, and holding space for the experience, and this blackness, this abyss of nothingness. Find peace and serenity in that nothingness rather than finding restlessness in the nothingness. If you're like me, and I mean, we've now got Jupiter in Aries, which is all about like moving forward, bold choices, excitement. And so we have that influence on us just constantly now for until October. And so, that might show up as restlessness, as a need to constantly take action. But here you're being told to hold space, accept the impasse, allow peace and serenity to come for you. And you already know that. You picked this candle. You picked this peace and serenity candle. So you know that's what you need, or it's what you are seeking, or it's where you are already. So let's look at what it is you need to release this eclipse. What are we releasing? Pile 2. The Messenger, which is the Hierophant, and the 7 of Pentacles. What is it you are releasing? Messages of self-worth. Definitely, because we've got the 7 of Pentacles, and it's Taurus and Scorpio. That's the axis that the eclipse is highlighting right now. So it only makes sense. Self-worth is definitely a theme that everybody is going to be dealing with in some way or another. But again, it's almost like the worth in what you say, in how you express, in how you open up. I think that there's a release in the need to guard and protect yourself. And that came up for the impasse. And with Scorpio, I feel like they can really hold on because they don't want to open up. They have too much in here as fuel almost, or as fodder. And it is about like opening up and letting yourself continue to communicate. 2 weeks ago, if you did have that experience in the first eclipse to really open and communicate and express yourself through your voice, and now you're at an impasse, it's almost like, well, you need to continue using your voice. You need to continue speaking and verbalizing and vocalizing. And even if it's not to anybody, it's almost like you just need to hear the words in your mind. You just need to hear yourself say those things, and then you'll realize how you're actually feeling or what your beliefs really are. And so I think it's a need to release the words, literally release the words from your mind. Let them go out. Talk to yourself or talk to somebody you trust. And the Seven of Pentacles, it really could be just to yourself. This person is so isolated with themselves, but they also have all of this divine energy of all of the planets. So it's not like they're really alone because they feel connected to the universe. And so I think that by communicating and expressing what you are experiencing right now, that is where you can find not just peace and serenity, but alignment and connection to self. Wow. And her hair, or not even her, the tree behind them actually looks like it's their hair, but it's just a tree behind them. So it's almost like the roots, this tree of life is coming from this connection to self. So I think it's almost a release that you don't know how to connect to yourself, or a release of disconnection to self. And it's much more about bringing in this alignment with you and with the universe. We've got the moon here. We've got, I think, some rope. It looks kind of like a rope or a snake in the lemniscate, like in the infinity symbol. So this seems almost like a very spiritual experience for you. And again, that holding space, the space card is really staring at me to continue to hold the space for whatever experiences come through. And again, that holding space speaks to your just saying words out loud, just having a sounding board, even the sounding board being like a mirror or something, just saying the words so that you hear yourself talk, so that you hear the thoughts that you have. And some of them might be just as ridiculous as you think. Sometimes we spin this story in our minds that, that a belief system, or, what we think about ourselves, negative self-talk or something. And when you hear yourself say that out loud, you realize just how insane that is. Not that you're insane, but how ridiculous it is that you speak to yourself that way. You would never speak to somebody you love that way. And so this Taurus really is lining up for you to sit in your self-worth and hold space for your value. And that's kind of that came up a little bit in pile 1 too. But for this, it's more about opening yourself and releasing the guard, letting down the guard. And, maybe it's fear of this man that is the impasse, but maybe he's actually trying to help you. Let him help you, let others help you, let yourself help you. Okay, so that's what you need to release. And I was going to pull like how best to release it, but we already sort of went there. We already did that. So I'm just going to pull on like any more messages that you need to hear, any more messages that need to be said for you, pile 2. 3 of Pentacles. It's okay to start somewhere. The moon. Okay. 6 of Swords, Page of Swords. Yeah, it's really okay to start somewhere. Just because you feel, this is partly for me, I really feel this, that like just because you feel like you don't know enough, or just because you feel like you're at the beginning of a journey, doesn't mean you're not worthy of the experience. Let yourself start somewhere. What is the rush to be an expert right away at whatever it is you're doing? Nobody is an expert in self-worth. So letting yourself begin without putting the pressure on yourself to do everything right away, and do everything right away the best. Just let yourself see the experiences around you. Communication is really important here with the 6 of Swords and the Page of Swords. Finding the balance of communication and not letting that overwhelm you, not letting it kick you when you're already down. Really opening the throat is just where it's at. And I think it started for you on April 30th, and then it sort of stunted. That growth was stunted. So that was your pile 2. I hope that was helpful. Please let me know in the comments how this eclipse went for you or goes for you. I'm seriously sending you guys so much love, you know that, and I will see you next time. Bye. All right, pile 3, you chose joy. This is actually my most recent addition to the intention line. It just came out this last week. So you got citrine, orange calcite, and sodalite on there. Just bringing you some happiness. We all need it. So I'm going to start with the Chakra Wisdom Oracle deck and also the Prism Oracle deck. I want some color in here. So let us see what it is that is coming for you this eclipse season. Major themes, maybe where in the body this is resting. Pile 3, eclipse season. There it is. Faith. I knew this one was going to come up. And let's see what the Prism Oracle. Oh. Ah, so good. And I'm going to leave this one out just because I feel like it could. But so for Chakra Wisdom Oracle card, you got this faith card, belief, trust. I almost feel like you picked joy because you're in a place of not having joy right now. And I think that not having that joy is coming from a place of distrust in self, distrust in the universe. And this is a faith card. Faith is the opposite of trust. Or faith is on the opposite of distrust. So really trusting not just whatever your faith is, but also just trusting your own inner voice. Trusting that your choices, your decisions, your words, your thoughts, your feelings are trustworthy. And I think you've actually got amethyst here. Yeah. Which is such a spiritual stone, but it's also such a grounding stone. It's one for bringing you back to earth, but also aligning you with the universe. So it's almost like having a practical way of connecting to the universe in a spiritual way. And then you also got this happiness card. And what's interesting about this happiness card is it's not orange, it's not yellow. Those are the colors of happiness, of joy, literally. But it's red. And so it's almost like this happiness has to come from your root. It has to come from like a foundational healing moment, a release of whatever is stunting you from enjoying yourself or having this happiness. And we've got isolation. This is like a negative space card. It's like a lack of color. It's a lack of everything. And so it almost feels like there is this lack of connection with others, but also with the self, right? Like this isolation, it feels like you're just like a single dot in a universe. And while that might be the case, you are still a worthy dot. You know, you are still worthy of joy. You're still worthy of happiness. And this faith card is really just screaming to me that like the trust that needs to be placed. I know I just sound like a broken record, but look at this. We have a woman with the earth and a man with a cup. And then we have this sort of like holy man with an owl above his head. So it's almost like it's okay. And that's what the amethyst is speaking. It's like connection to ancestors. So maybe this eclipse season is a really good time for you to do a meditation to connect with your ancestors. Maybe it's a good time to like set up an altar where you can put photos of loved ones that have passed on, really connecting with them, because Scorpio rules that. It rules your inheritance, it rules your ancestors, it rules your lineage. This like deep blood ingrained connection with other people. That is Scorpio. And so maybe there's like a need to pull from that deeper power, from the power of your lineage. I almost feel like for somebody here, there is a lack of connection with the family that you do have here. And that happened recently, or happened maybe not recently, but after somebody had passed away that you were close to. And now that person was what drew you close to the family. And now that that person passed away, you kind of have this discord or disconnection with your family now. And so it's almost like it's time for you to acknowledge that that person who passed away still lives within you, is still a part of you and part of your world, and is still communicating with you often. You are not isolated. You are not alone. And if that's not for you, it's not for you, but the message still rings true that you may feel alone, but you are not. And even if you are alone, does that mean you have to be lonely? Can you sit with yourself in joy, in connection, in alignment, in love? So that's what the eclipse is kind of bringing up for you. Let's see what it is that you need to release this eclipse. May 15th, 16th, depending where you are, even 17th. If you're in Australia, I believe it is on the 17th. Here we go. What it is you're releasing. The Empress. Wow. Three of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles. My goodness, relationships with women, absolutely. So for anybody out there who did lose a person, lose somebody who they were very close to in their family, you have this free grandma hugs card. This card to me is always the I still love you, I'm still with you card. This card always comes up when I'm channeling, you know, from the other side. It really is just the, hey, I'm still so proud of you and you are doing great and keep moving forward. You have this Empress, and this is what you are releasing. You are releasing the Empress. Maybe you're releasing the need to be unconditionally loving towards everybody else and not to yourself. It's fantastic to have unconditional love and to bring empathy to everything that you do. But at the same time, if it's draining you, and if it's not deserved or earned on the other side, then really you're just enabling negative behavior. And so releasing the need to be everybody's mother, releasing the need to be the most loving, kind, caring person. And you've got the Six of Pentacles, again, relationships with women. Some of them are being released. Some of them are, it's beliefs about these relationships that are being released, that you don't have to hold on to it. And look at that. You've got Saturn there. You've got this Mercury and the moon there. So communication when it comes to those difficult lessons. And it is a lesson of the mind. It's almost like there's anxiety surrounding this thing. And it's a very internal time. It's a very internal lesson that you're learning. And maybe that is playing into the Mercury retrograde right now, that it's an internal communication or an internal mental spiral within yourself that needs to be felt through and then learned from. But really what you're releasing here is like, I mean, there's so many things that are sort of screaming at me, because I think maybe a lot of people are picking joy, which is great because we all need a little bit of joy. But so that was one, the idea that you have to be the mother, you have to mother everybody. I also think the idea of, what is it that's being released? Relationships with women also. I think there's something about like how you want to be viewed or how you want to be loved, letting go of the constant need to be loved by others. And it really is a focus on loving yourself. It's so interesting. Pretty much all three of these piles have touched on self-worth. And that makes sense because Taurus is all about the value, the resources, the worthiness. And Scorpio is intense healing. And I think we as a society all have to learn how to love ourselves a little bit more and how to see our value more. But this is so beautiful. The Six of Pentacles really is telling me, like, keep communicating with people on the other side. If you are a medium, if you are a channel, let me know in the comments, or like let other people know in the comments so that they can connect with their ancestors. But there is a deep need to really make an aligned connection with people who are from your lineage, that are made of you, that you are made of them. I think that's really important. And so a release that you're not connected, a release of the idea that you are just a dot in the universe and that you don't matter. Like, that's a huge concept to just like think on the off the cuff. But we need to let go of that, because just because you might be a little dot, just because you might feel unimportant, doesn't mean you are unimportant. You have a large purpose here on this earth, and it's time for you to really hold on to the happiness, hold on to the joy, seek it out, find it. Don't get so fixated on what's wrong. Let yourself see what's right and trust that what is right is actually right? That it's not too good to be true. Okay, so let's see how best to approach this release. I kind of feel like I know, but pull some cards, see what they say. Oh, I felt one there, but Okay, King of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, Six of Swords. How best to release? Sorting through your stuff. I think actually for you, there are some tangible things that you can literally throw out. Like for me, like that mug, throw out that mug, smash that mug. If you didn't watch the intro, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you have real things that you're holding on to, either to remind you or because they make you feel nostalgic, if they make you feel nostalgic in a sad way, if they make you upset, or if they remind you of sad times in your life, throw that stuff out. It does not need to stick around. All you are doing is punishing yourself and holding on to that pain. So let yourself be proactive and let go of the old and allow the new in. And I really feel like for you, pile 3, that relationships are a major theme. Might not be a romantic relationship, although it certainly can be. Of course, I always say that. But just in general, like your connection with other people is being a major focus. And again, we've got this 6 of Swords going from the dark to the light, letting yourself release this cloud of heaviness and move into this lightness. Allow yourself to move into joy. Let yourself have joy. I mean, I hate doing self-promotion, but seriously, like if you feel like you need something to bring you joy, you can buy that candle on my website, harveymountaalchemy.com. I hate self-promo. I'm sorry, it's so uncomfortable. But it really does feel like there's this need to like push yourself out of, it's almost like this darkness is your comfort zone. And it's just like, you know how to be in this darkness, and being in the light seems like a lot of pressure. And how do I make myself feel light? How do I make myself feel happy? Just step into the light. Let yourself choose happiness. That's really what it is. So let's pull some cards for any final messages you need for this eclipse, this full moon. 10 of Pentacles, abundance. Wow. And Knight of Cups. There's abundance in recognizing your emotions and not blowing them up. They don't have to be huge emotions. You don't have to embody the most severe expression of the emotion you're feeling. You can just let those emotions flow through and move past you. And you've got this 10 of Pentacles. There really is beautiful abundance and comfort and love, and yeah, just abundance keeps screaming because I've got the citrine crystal right in front of me, and it's just, there's so much abundance around you. And the citrine actually is like the same color as these pentacles. Like, look how much that matches. It's pretty wild. So let yourself live in the flow of abundance. Like how beautiful is that? All right, pile 3, I'm sending you a lot of love. Let me know how this eclipse goes in the comments. I always love to hear from you guys. And also let me know how that first eclipse went on April 30th, kind of the themes you've been playing with since then. And I'll see you next time. Bye.